Okay, so Hulu have got a new horror film called Carved. It is directed by Justin Harding, who co-wrote the film with Cheryl Meyer. It is produced by David Brooks, Gina Cavell, Deborah Liebling, and R.B. Pedrosian. It's executive produced by Shyam S. Sengupta, Leo Naim, and Miles Alva. It is co-produced by Alex Hansen and Nick Page. Oh, along with Lorne Raimi. Terry Bean and Michelle Usi took care of the music. Sevdij Castrati is on cinematography. Pamela Bain edits a piece, while Lindsay Weissmuller took care of the casting duties. R.D. Siwat is production design. Set decoration is Bryce Parsons Twiston. Melissa Walker is costume design. Hair, makeup, creature effects, all of that jazz. We've got Monica Spendlove, Sandy Jo Johnson, Alan Cook, and Andrea Aul. So our cast, the crazy crew doing all these roles in the film. We have got, actually IMDb is rubbish. So let's take a look here, because it's probably our best bet. Kira is played by Peyton Elizabeth Lee. Her younger brother Trevor is played by Wyatt Lindner. We've got Cody, Kira's boyfriend, played by Corey Fogelmanis. There is Kira's, I think, best friend Barb, played by Carla Jimenez. We've got their boss Billy, played by DJ Qualls, and Billy's friend and security guard Kevin, played by Marc Sully Saint-Fleur. There is Maddie, who also works with Kira and Barb. She's played by Sasha Mason. And Shane, played by Jonah Lees. We've got Clint, played by Matty Cardarople. His friend AJ, played by Elvis Nolasco. Clint's uncle Earl, played by Chris Elliott. And there's Wes, played by Jackson Kelly. Now, the gist is this. When a heartbroken teenage playwright, her younger brother, and a disparate group of survivors become trapped in a historical reenactment village on Halloween night, they must band together to survive a relentless assault by a sentient and vengeful pumpkin. Okay, so, right, this all comes from a Hulu short program. There's a little bit of blurb, right? So it says, directed by Justin Harding, Carved is based on the short film of the same name, which came from 2018, which he also wrote and directed for a shorts program for Halloween Film Fest, and teamed up with writer Cheryl Meyer to pen the feature version together as part of Woven Brooks' first look horror slate with Hulu Originals. Carved was developed by Woven Brooks with David Brooks, Debbie Liebling, R.B. Petrosian, and Jenna Cavell serving as producers. Miles Alva as an executive producer, Lorne Ramy, Alex Hansen and Nick Page as co-producers. So yeah, all stems from a short. Now, it starts off, right? And we just see all of these bodies, all of these people kind of, it looks like the Red Wedding, essentially. It looks like they're on this big dining table and there's just everyone slumped over and dead. And we've got this guy and he's in a suit. He's got a video camera. So we're assuming he's some sort of film producer, maybe something like that. And he's like, trying to get away, trying to work out what to do. But doesn't go well. He's dead. We see some eyes through a crack in a door. And then it's like a week earlier. Or hours earlier. I think it's hours earlier. Yeah, hours earlier. Which is, I think you kind of groan, right, when that happens. Just because there's so many films that nowadays start with a scene from the very end. And then it's like, this is how we got there. Which then means that you lose that kind of appetite for the film because you have a pretty, I think, accurate guess that everyone you meet is gonna die, right? We kind of know the outcome, who survives and all of that. So you're a bit like, oh, we're doing that again? Okay, fine. Let's see how they do it. Luckily, what we see at the beginning isn't the end, right? It's probably the end of the first act, maybe the first third of the film. So then there's a load left, which is a bit of a relief, right? And, I think you're like, okay, for a Halloween horror, it's fine, right? It does all of the things that a film like this would do, essentially. Like when you think of, when I watch this, it like stuff like Five Nights at Freddy's, kind of come to mind. It's like the VHS series. There's some of those shorts are kind of similar to this. Kids v Aliens was one that definitely I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of like this, right? So if you like those things, Carved will jump to you. We do have that thing where you've got a guy that gets stoned all the time, but they play it in that stupid way from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, where people didn't really know what being stoned was. I mean, people did know, but when you saw it on TV or in films, it was super exaggerated. You take a puff and you're like, whoa, man, God, I need food. I got the munchies. Right? So our Clint character is that. And again, you're rolling your eyes because you're just like, this ain't it, man. We know this ain't it now. Right? So what are we doing? Surely you can find a better way to portray this character. You know what I mean? Like, and also, the setup of the whole pumpkin thing, the pumpkin looks so fuckriz that you kind of go, wait, who is even taking this pumpkin in the first place? Right? It doesn't make any sense because you'd be like, nah, this is rotten. No one can eat this. No one can touch. Like, it, you know what I mean? Like, if it looked like a normal pumpkin and then evolved or something, then I think it would make more sense how we get here. but it doesn't really. You know what I mean? That's the big issue on those fronts. Also, Clint's granddad. I mean, I could hardly understand what the fuck he's saying, right? It's that other thing of playing the hillbilly, right? And be like, oh, all hillbillies are like this. Let's do this silly voice. Let's do, you know what I mean? If we could move away from those things, right? I think we'd have a stronger, more appealing story, right? Something that really gets you gripped. Because the idea isn't bad here. You know what I mean? The idea isn't bad. It's just some weird ways to get here. The relationship between Cody and Kira, right? Again, it's just playing to those tropes, to those norms. I did appreciate towards the end how it went, though. So that was all good. You know what I mean? Like, we do have a thing where people get mad messy, but then the next scene, they're looking pretty clean, right? Or it's just like, wait, how did you get rid of the most? Like, because their clothes have still got kind of stains, but the face, you know, how you get rid of all of that shit? And then you see the shot with the strategically placed bits of gore and stuff, so it doesn't mess them up too much. And you're just like, okay, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, as I said, look, if you enjoy those, you know, TV movies, right? Those low budget horrors, they're dealing with creatures and things like that. I think this probably fits into that. As I said, kids v aliens, you know, some of the VHS install, like the segments, you know, those kind of things. This kind of fits into those. So yeah, if that's your jam, then Carved could very well work for you. There's some fun deaths here. You know what I mean? There's some fun deaths. There are some deaths that kind of happen off screen, which is always a bit of a shame. You know what I mean? So we do have some of that. And then the notion of how certain people survive don't make any sense. Right? It don't make any sense when you're thinking if you know, because it's like the pumpkin can hear you, but we know plants can hear. Right? We've established that. It's crazy. You know what I mean? How they do that shit, but they can hear through the root system and other things, right? So we know that is a thing. But that means their senses are completely different. So the notion of playing dead, that ain't gonna fool something like this, you know? But it is what it is, people. It is what it is. So yeah, Carved, it drops on Hulu on the 21st. That's a Monday, which is always an interesting day to rock something. But I suppose Halloween must be midweek. I'm not actually sure. I don't even get down with the holiday, so I'm not sure when it happens. I know, like, my friend Sarah, she loves Halloween, so she's probably already getting prepped for it, and this might work for her. I feel this might work for her. So yeah, it drops on Monday. It's on Hulu. I don't know if it's hitting Disney Plus at the same time, you know, because in the UK we don't have Hulu. But yeah, there you go. Carved, dropping Monday 21st.